Hello students, welcome back to my channel. In the last class or in the previous video, we studied about the basic concepts of index number. That is the definition of index number, why index number act as economic barometers, and based on the two different examples we studied the variation or the fluctuations either in the price or in the quantities of the goods or the commodities which is taken into consideration. Now in today's session, let us discuss about price relative, quantity relative and value relative, along with the uses, limitations and characteristics of index numbers. Let us begin with the first topic, that is price relative. What is price relative? Price relative is the price in the current year expressed as the percentage of the price in the base year. Now for example, let me consider any one item, that is rice. The price of this rice in 2015, let me assume it as 20 rupees. Now the same rice cost rupees 30 in the year 2020. Now the change in the variation in the price value or the value of money from the previous year to this year, the variation can be studied. The variation in the price of the goods or the commodities can be studied under this concept. Now how to find the price relative? Before that, what is price relative and how you indicate that? Now price relative is denoted as capital letter P. This P is the estimated value, the value that you are going to estimate, the value that you are going to find will be denoted as P, which is called as price relative. Now your intention is to find the change or the variation in the value of money from the base year till the current year, the change or the variation in the price of the commodity. So that variation, the value that you are going to find will be called as price relative, which is denoted as capital letter P, which will be written on the left side of the formula, that you are going to find price relative, which is capital letter P. On the right hand side, the formula continues: current year price value divided by base year price, which is multiplied by 100. Now all the index number are found in percentages. That is the reason why all the index number formulas are multiplied by 100. Now in the numerator you can see current year price is considered and in the denominator base year price. So it is the ratio of current year price to the base year price. Current year price is the present year price. If the 2 years of comparison, base and the current year is 2015 and 20, the present year, the current year is 2020 and the base year is its previous year, which is 2015. So current year price is 30 rupees divided by the base year price was 20 rupees. So 30 by 20 into 100 and you will get the price value. So that is, that percentage value is the value or the variation that is happening from the year 2015 to 20. Second concept, quantity relative. Quantity relative is the ratio of quantity of commodity in the current year expressed as the percentage of quantity in the base year, and it is given by the formula Q equal to Q1 by Q0, which is multiplied by 100. This is same as the price relative. Under price relative, you are studying the change or the variation in the price of the commodity or the price of the item. Here under quantity relative, we are studying the variation in the quantity of the goods consumed. So in this year, how much or the quantity of goods consumed in the year 2015 and the quantity of goods consumed in the year 2020, that variation can be studied under this concept. Again here capital letter Q denotes the quantity relative, the value that you are going to estimate will be taken as quantity relative. On the other side, small letter Q1 by Q0 multiplied by 100. Again Q1 is the current year quantity divided by the base year quantity, which is multiplied by 100. As you can see in the formula, always the left hand side, the value that you are going to compute will be denoted as capital letters and the values that is given in the question will be considered as the small letters. So the first formula, price relative, also capital letter P equal to small letter p1 divided by small letter p naught multiplied by 100. So right hand side the small letter values, the values that are given in the question. On the left hand side the value that you are going to compute will be denoted as capital letter P. If it is quantity relative, capital letter Q. So Q equal to small letter q1 by q naught multiplied by 100. Similarly, value relative. Here value means it is the product of a price and quantity of the goods or the items. For example, the value of rice. If the commodity under consideration is rice, the value of rice, how you will value that rice or the product? So as I told, value means it is the product of price into quantity. That is, if you are taking 1 kg of rice, the quantity consumed is 1 kg and the cost of rice is 30 rupees. So 1 into 30, that is equal to 30. That is the value of the entire item. Now suppose your intention is to buy a pen. So a pen cost 5 rupees and your intention is to buy more than one pen. Let me take it as 5. So each pen cost of 5 rupees and you are going to buy 5 different pens which is of the same rate. So 5 into 5, 25, and that is the value of the product pen. So value means it is the product of a price into quantity. Again, value here, as I told, it is the product of price into quantity. In price and quantity, again you have base and the current year, right? So the base year price is denoted as P naught, current year price is denoted as P1. Base year quantity is denoted as Q naught, current year quantity is denoted as Q1. Similarly, value relative, left hand side, value relative is denoted as capital letter V, which is equal to small letter v1 by small letter v naught and into 100. So current year value divided by base year value, which is multiplied by 100. As I told, value is the product of price into quantity. So v1 equal to, v1 is the value of the current year. So product of current year price and product of current year quantity. So v1 equal to p1 q1, product of price and quantity of the current year. So v1 equal to p1 q1 divided by v naught is p naught q naught. Therefore v equal to p1 q1 divided by p naught q naught, which is multiplied by 100. Next concept, characteristics of index numbers. First one, index numbers are specialized type of averages, whereas mean, median and mode measure the absolute changes and are used to compare only those series which are expressed in the same units. The technique of index numbers is used to measure the relative changes where the measurement of mean, median and mode is not possible, and the series are expressed in different types of items. Second one, index numbers are expressed in ratios, but for comparison purpose they are expressed in percentages. Index numbers are mainly used for the comparison of price, quantity and value of an item or a group of items. So index numbers are expressed in terms of percentages to show the extent of relative change. Third one, index numbers study the effect of factors that cannot be measured directly. Index numbers are meant to study the changes in the effects of such factors which cannot be measured directly. For example, the general price level is an imaginary concept and it is not capable of direct measurement. But through the technique of index numbers, it is possible to have an idea of relative changes in the general level of prices by measuring relative changes in the price level of different commodities. Fourth one, index numbers facilitate the comparison. Index numbers facilitate comparison of the relative changes in two or more variables. The index numbers facilitate comparisons between series and among states or regions. Next side heading, uses of index numbers. First one, index numbers simplifies the data and thus facilitates comparative study. Index numbers presents large volumes of complex data in the simplest form and thus facilitate comparison. The technique of index numbers is used to compare the levels of a phenomena on a certain date with its level on some previous date, or the levels of a phenomena at different places on the same date. Second one, index numbers are used in studying trends and tendencies. Since index numbers study the relative changes in the level of any phenomena over a period of time, they can be used to study the trend of the phenomena in a time series data. Index numbers help to reveal the trends and tendencies of the economy and also help in the formulation of economic policies and laws. Third one, index numbers help in measuring purchasing power of money and also used for deflation. Changes in the consumer price index number are used to access price changes associated with the cost of living. The consumer price index number is one of the most frequently used statistic for identifying periods of inflation or deflation. Fourth one, index numbers measure changes in cost of living of different groups of people. Consumer price index number measures change in the cost of living pattern of a person of a sample group. Consumer price index relates to a particular class of people because the consumption pattern changes from class to class, income wise, region wise, and so on. Fifth one, index numbers are used by the government to frame suitable policies regarding fixation of bank rates, allowances to government employees, license to new firms, imports, exports, or taxation, etc. So, policies of bank rates, allowances to the government employees, or policies regarding the fixation of the salary, imports, exports. So, all these concepts are discussed based on the concept of index number. Last concept, limitations or demerits of index number. First one, since index numbers are based on the sample data, they are only approximate indicators. Index numbers are generally based on a few sample items. So, the results derived are approximate and not perfect. Second one, there is a likelihood of error being introduced at each stage of the construction of the index numbers. As a result, there are valid chances for errors to swipe directly. That is, there is a possibility of getting errors at each stage of the construction of index numbers. Third one, while constructing index numbers, the quality of product is not taken into consideration. Index numbers are constructed either by comparing price, quantity, and value of the commodity. So, quality of the product will not be taken into consideration, whereas quantity of goods or items will be considered. Fourth one, like other statistical techniques, index numbers can be misused to get desired conclusions. Even index numbers can be misused like any other statistical measure in order to get the answer while finding the index number. Fifth one, as customs, traditions, and habits of people vary from time to time, it is difficult to assign proper weights to the various items. As we all know that custom and traditions of people vary from time to time, from place to place. It is difficult for us to give equal importance or weightage to all the items under consideration. Last point, many formulae are used in the construction of index numbers, and the different formulae give different answers. So, in the concept of index number, as you will proceed, here you will find many more formulas. There are different formulas of constructing index number, but all the formulas will give you different answer, but will be approximately same, but it will not be the perfect value. So all the formulas will give you different answer. Different formulas will give you different answer, which will be the approximate indicators, but it need not be a perfect or the exact value. So different formulas are used in the construction of index number. Different formula will give you different answer. Last concept of today's session, types of index numbers. There are three different types of index number, as we all know. First one, price index number, which is computed based on the price values of the commodities. Quantity index number, here quantities of goods will be compared between the two different years, base and the current year. Third one, value index number, the change in the value of money can be studied in this concept. First one, price index number. The price index numbers measure the general change in the prices of articles in the current period as compared to that of the base period. So in index number, our main intention is to compare the values either in terms of price or in terms of quantity or in terms of value. So first let us discuss about the price values. So here the comparison is made between the two different years of the price values of a commodity. One commodity or one item will be taken into consideration and its price will be compared with base and the current year. Now take the same example, that is the cost or the price of 1 kg of rice. In 2015 we assume that it is 20 rupees, and in the year 2020 the price of the same 1 kg of rice cost 30 rupees. So the change in the price value, the general change or the relative change in the price values in the current year, which is compared with that of the base year, that comparison is made using the concept price index number. It is denoted as P01. P indicates price. So here you are computing the price value. So P of 01. 0 is the indication for the base period and 1 is the indication for the current period. Here you are comparing the price values of the current period with that of the base period. So 0, 1, 0 is base year, 1 is the current year. So price of base with respect to the current year, that changes can be studied in this concept of price index number. Now while studying price index number, there are two different categories. One is based on the wholesale price you can find the index number, or else based on the retail price. So wholesale price index number and retail price index number. You know what is wholesale price index? It is the concept of buying the goods in bulk. You are buying more than one product. A group of products will be brought together. So here in this concept of wholesale and retail price index number, your ultimate intention is to compare the price values either based on the wholesale price or based on the retail price. Wholesale means a group of items will be taken together or brought together. Retail price means a single product is brought. So the comparison between these two is made based on their price values, which is studied under this concept. Second one, quantity index number. It is quite similar to the price index number. Under price index, you are comparing the price value. In quantity index, we are comparing the quantities between the base and the current year. Again, quantity index numbers study the relative change in the volume of goods produced or manufactured or consumed or distributed. So the number of goods produced, the quantity of goods produced can be studied in this concept of quantity index number. It is denoted by Q01. Again, Q indicates quantity of, and the comparison is made between the base and the current year. Base year is denoted as 0 and the current year is denoted as 1. So the comparison is made between the base and the current year of the quantity values, Q01. Last one, value index number. Value index number study the relative change in the total money value of production. Value means, as you know, that it is the product of price multiplied by the quantity of the respective goods or the items. So here you are finding the change in the value of an item, which is compared between the base and the current year. So the value of the item and the comparison is made between the base and the current year. the value of rice in the year 2015 and the value of rice in the year 2020. What is the great difference between these years? So that comparison is made under value index number. Value index number is denoted as V01. V indicates value. The comparison is made between 0 and 1, between the base and the current year.